What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CND Games or later on your favorite podcast service, Dave Walters and Erin M talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you are here with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show, but until then, Erin, Dave, take it away.
Muted. I'm muted. Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I am a content designer for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, and I am also the author of the Brimstone Angels saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms that features 3 of your favorite Idle Champions, Rita, Havilar, and Mehen. I also play Cecilia and Dungeon Scrawlers.
I must say, starting this off muted is perfect for our episode today. I'm Dave Walters. I say words about things. I was recently referred to as a D&D philanthropist, and I kind of loved it. Okay. Slightly pretentious, but I didn't call myself that. Someone else did.
There you go.
You know? But if I continue to perpetuate it, at what point is it on me and not on that person?
That's fair. Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can get away for a while by saying, people sometimes call me.
People sometimes call me a space cowboy. Yes. And here to talk about, although, I mean, have you guys heard though? You heard, it's like really big news. I
didn't hear anything. No. You talking about the new books, the new D&D books?
No, that the bird is the word.
Oh my gosh!
You get that
news event of an ornithological variety.
Just long enough that I was like, it's not a bit. I actually don't know something. Well done.
Dylan
king of timing to your list.
Dylan highlighted in the chat. Have you not heard?
Thank you for coming with me on that, Dylan. Thank you for coming with me on that. I thought it was big news.
That's gonna be the rest of my day with that in my head. The bird is the word because we're talking about Birdfolk today, and that is to celebrate with Highharvestide launching at noon today. Dahani, an Aarakocra from the Rivals of Waterdeep stream, played by Latia Jacquis. Did I say that right? Jacquis. There we go. I knew I was going to say it wrong because as soon as I asked you how it was, ADHD took it away. So yeah, Dahani is coming today with the new event. And we haven't really ever talked about bird people because we haven't had any characters so far to really talk about. There's a few in the game, but true. None that have released while we have been doing the show. And there are different types. We're not just going to be talking about Ericocra. There's lots of types of bird folk all throughout D&D's history, some of which make me very uncomfortable when I look at. So where do you all want to start with bird folk?
Well, I think if we were going to start with Dahani, we should start with Ericocra.
Sounds like a plan. Because
that is Dahani. She is an Aarakocra monk. She's also an artist. She looks real cool. So the Aarakocra are also in Idle Champions. There's also Ashara and Quill.
Yes,
are also Aarakocra. I think those are the 3 though. Ashara, Quill, and
I'm sure someone in chat will correct us if we're wrong.
There are a lot of champions, which is delightful. So Aarakocra are the bird people race, the primary bird people race in D&D 5e in the 5th edition. They
offended in Kenku.
I'm sorry, that's true. I forgot the Kenku.
Yeah, right.
The second kind of Kenku, just to be clear. Spoilers for later.
Yeah, so, Kenku 2.0. Yes.
Oh.
They kind of look like hawk people. They have like bird faces, they have like raptor faces, they have big wings. They also have arms in addition to their wings, which is one of the sort of primary differences between the different types of avian humanoids you can play in D&D. They have taloned feet. In 5th edition, they also have what's the thing where your heel is like your knee? Backwards legs, but they're not backwards.
I didn't know there was an actual way to say that besides just backwards legs.
There is.
Like the back legs of an elephant. Yeah, or like bird legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they tend to live in mountainous regions. They are big flyers. Shock. Because if you've got those big beautiful wings, why wouldn't you? Yeah. Have you guys ever played an Aarakocra?
Have I? No, I played an Azamar with wings. That's the closest I got.
I have, but I one of my villains in A Darkened Wish was an Aarakocra named Molt, who was an assassin. She's a crossbow wielding assassin. She killed people from way off. Yeah, and Molt was a jerk.
She had eagle eyes.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. She did.
That does remind me that I do remember, like, there was a lot of people that were perturbed when Ericocras came into 5th edition because they're like, this breaks my game because players could just fly wherever. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what they do.
That's what ranged attackers are for.
Yeah, that, and I mean, flight is a fairly low bar in D&D. When we get to Kenku, I'm gonna tell a story about. I'm gonna tell a flying in D&D story. But yeah, it's not that hard to come by.
It's true.
So
I mean, you know, dump here can spider climb. You know, like so. Yeah.
In looking at the Ericocra, so just some basics. They prefer mountainous areas. In Forgotten Realms, they're originally from. Well, actually, that's a whole thing. But they are not originally from Faerun. They are from Enchrome or Mastica and have come over. And there's plenty of places that they've founded settlements. But the let's see, the last Eyrie is in the Star Mounts near the headwaters of the Unicorn Run. That seems to be the primary one as of the current age. They tend to be a little standoffish with other people. I mean, they can't fly, so do they have anything interesting to say? I don't know.
That's how I feel. Also, I love the fact that if you look at the wiki, their art is increasingly horrifying as you go back in the editions.
Yeah.
like I mean, I do love the 3E Aarakocra is challenging you to a dance off, but like the 2E and 1E, do not trust the fleshy one. You know, like
Yeah. So 5th edition makes a big change in giving them 6 functional limbs instead of 4. So 3rd edition, 2nd edition, and 1st edition, the arms are attached to the wings, so they're very like.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Which is a different look.
Yeah,
Very.
I oh god, second edition looks like a Scooby-Doo villain. Like that head's about to pop off and it's Old Man Jenkins.
It does, and he would have gotten away with it too, if not for you meddling halflings.
You're right though. 3rd edition does look like an aerial battle dance off. Yeah.
It does look like. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's casting a bard spell. It's got a spear in its foot, in its clawed foot. Yeah. How impractical is that, by the way? The 3rd edition art. Like I mean, like I see that coming towards me, and I just be like, bro.
But why though?
Right.
That's how you make flying balanced. Is you're like, okay, but your arms are your wings. You can't hold anything.
Dylan in the chat says they used to be Skeksis, basically.
They do look very Skeksis-ish.
You know, I think we've long since established that I have long-standing emotional trauma from the Skeksis, and that's exactly what I thought. Didn't say it on purpose, you know. Like I can't have that in the party. Like if we're discussing where we're gonna go in the dungeon, and it's all, I'm like backstab, bang, yep. Nope.
I legit remember the first time I saw that scene. It was just randomly one night on Disney Channel, and I did not know what freaking Dark Crystal was. Ooh. And I was sitting there legitimately just like, did like they accidentally like show a horror movie from like HBO or something? Like I didn't know. I was like, what the heck is this?
I'm glad the racial memory of the existential terror the Skeksis represent still echoes through. I mean, the messed up thing is like there's no one piece of the Chamberlain that is terrifying. You require all the pieces, and then it's terrifying.
So now I'm thinking about an Aarakocra Lich, which sounds awesome.
Thanks, I hate it.
Oh
nope.
My goodness.
Nope. I built a campaign around ending that thing. Nope. Nope. Yellow card. Nope.
So yeah,
that is what the 1E art does look like an Aarakocra Lich. He's just like a little patchier. Yeah.
Yeah, so now they've got arms and they're
unstoppable.
They're unstoppable now, yes.
But also more huggable.
It's true.
True.
One thing I found in looking up more information about Aarakocra, and correct me because I'm mixing up a little bit whether we talked about it here or I talked about it on the pre-show hangout for Dungeon Scrawlers. We talk about the creator races.
No.
Just in passing.
So like there are deep in the history of Forgotten Realms, a certain number of civilizations that are considered the creator races. So you have like the Batrachi, who are kind of the progenitors of gross, slimy, froggy things.
Yes, here be the god
well,
of gross,
hang on
slimy,
a
froggy
second.
things.
Let me find the list because I didn't realize. So I found there was one that I didn't know about, which is the creator race that is the progenitor of the Ericocra, but also a bunch of other things. Oh, come on. Open this link so I can see the list.
I gotta be careful with that thinking sound now that we talked about Skeksis.
Let me just say one quick. I know you. I'm like,
but he's getting ready to fight.
One quick thing while you're looking for that list. Male Aarakocra are notorious flirts.
Oh, really?
So that horrifying line art takes on a very different thing. You know that he's all like, please give me your number.
But
Fireball.
see, Ivan took it in the funny way. You know that bird that like puts its wings up behind its head and does a little dance thing like that in a tavern?
Oh my god.
That's what it's doing in the second one. It's the bird of paradise.
I love it. I love it.
It's just eyes locked on somebody across the tavern, just back and forth.
You're like it's like I'm simultaneously horrified but compelled.
I love the videos of those birds. And I love it porting it over to Aarakocra because the male puts in so much effort to do this little dance. And you see the female and she's just like, okay, no.
She's very indifferent.
She's like extremely picky about something you can't see because you're not a bird.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of female Aarakocra being like,
but it's obvious though. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Right. It's like your third claw is longer than the other five. No. No. Not passing that on to my chicks. No. Do Aarakocra hatch from eggs or do they bear live you?
You know, I assume they do because I don't. But that's actually that's an assumption I probably shouldn't make.
It would check your privilege, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, birds all lay eggs. There's no live birthing birds, but they're bird people, so who knows?
Bird person. No, I feel I'm gonna come down on the side of eggs. I'm gonna say eggs. I cannot substantiate this, but I'm gonna say
with
eggs.
a Control F search, there's nothing about eggs on the wiki.
I
also attempted that move.
One reason, and that is beaks.
Yeah.
A lot of things like tiefling horns. I don't think baby tieflings have horns. Okay, cool. But a baby Aarakocra has a beak.
Yeah,
that needs to be enclosed.
Yeah, it's got to be an egg. Yeah, it's got to be an egg.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Check your privilege. Counting Q put that in the chat.
Yep, exactly.
So the creator races, the Saruk are the reptilian or sauroid creator race. So these are the Wanti, the Naga, the lizard folk, the serpent folk, all these other scaly kinds. The Batrachi are amphibioid. So bullywugs and Koatoa, and also doppelgangers descend from these. The Fey rulers of Feyry are like the elves and the pixies and all this thing comes down. Humans get to be a creator race because we made the game, to be perfectly clear.
Exactly right. Yeah, we defined the board. That's why now we're a race. We're a creator race. Yeah.
And there's and it is the case that there are lots of things that aren't covered here, right? Like, what's the dwarven creator race? Well, dwarves are probably like, dwarves.
Because they shouldn't be. Yeah. No, that's why.
But the one I didn't...
something that was left over when the Saruk were making a better race became dwarves. like twins. This. They were the Danny DeVito to some other Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yep.
I can't believe you referenced twins.
So
literally why you have me here.
The other one is, oh my goodness, so many vowels. The Aeri.
Sure.
And
that's it
now. For the Aarakocra, the group, there's 3 empires of the Aeri, and the Ericocra are Croca are the specific progenitors of the Aarakocra, as you can tell by the name. But the things that they either created or descended into include wyverns, Kenku, and owlbears. And
Wait,
I'm so curious where this comes from.
Wait, so I mean, we all know where owlbears came from, just a late night with too much of the long bottom leaf. But wait, they're saying what wyverns are not scaly kind?
Nope, they're saying that they were made by the Aarakocra.
They don't have feathers.
I mean,
wait a minute. That's not a thing. Because Tiamat has a wyvern sting on her tail, and if the mother of dragons is claiming wyverns,
maybe she saw it. She's like, "That's badass. That's mine now." I mean, believe in that too.
That's true. We're gonna say we're gonna be like, no, and then she's like, "Let me ask you again." 5 heads of breath and death. Yeah.
You know what? They don't know what happened to the Aerie.
Mhm.
There's this story that like thousands of years ago, this elf captain found this lost city floating off the northern coast of Ankrom, which is one of the distant continents in Toril, and couldn't tell. Oh, actually, and then after he went and he looked at the statues and he said, "Oh, I'm going to call this the Aerie." Dragons assaulted and destroyed his flying ship. So I think we've just filled in the canon here.
I think we have. Yeah, right.
Tiamat is like, those are mine now, and regardless of who came up with it, that was the end of the Aerie. They stood against Tiamat.
I want to Photoshop a comic now of that meme where it's just like someone's like, "I made this," and they hold up a wyvern, and then there's a person with 5 dragon heads. You made this? I made this.
Let me say two quick things. One about the Saruk, the progenitor race. OGs to this game will remember back in 3.5 and pun time, the just ridiculous, unkillable character builds you could make. The Saruk was a pivotal piece of that, because the Saruk had an ability that they could modify the class features of another class. Just straight up give you different abilities or take them away. Just be like, "Hey, would you like to smite now?" There you go. You know? And the way it was written is you were supposed to just do like terrible things. Like you meet them and they're like, "Ha, you got a snake arm." You know, you're like, "Oh no." But it was written they could just do anything. And so there was a comedically improbable series of steps that you had to go through. And some people did it. Where you could wild shape into a Saruk, and you had an animal companion, and you turned your animal companion into a Saruk, and then basically the two of you just kept perfecting each other. You just turned yourself and your animal companion into Dr. Manhattan. You're like,
"Oh my god!"
Well, it's like, you know what we're doing today? We're becoming gods, Tinky Winky, my tortoise. You know. And that's what happened. So shout out to the Saruk. In future DMs, if anybody mentions wanting to wild shape into a Saruk, do not let them.
I do want to point out real quick before I forget to, Lodux in the chat so D&D Beyond confirms you lay eggs.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will not fret about it, because
Mm-hmm.
honestly,
it was gonna keep me up.
Honestly, I was like, I don't want the other one to be a thing.
It's true. That's true. The second thing is lower down on the wiki page for the Aarakocra. Do you see the Aarakocra weapons dealer?
The weapon is what?
The Aarakocra, he looks simultaneously shady but apologetic. Like, he very much is like, "I know what I am, but can I interest you in some armaments?" I have no idea what game that's from. I was just like, I don't know.
That might be someone's fan art too.
I'm like, but no, it's it's definitely a game. Because if you notice, the exact same image is in multiple frames. You know, it's just been programmed the once. You know.
Oh yeah, that one didn't load on mine. But so we talked about Ericocra a bit, and there are a couple other ones to get through. Is there any other interesting, notable things about Ericocra people might need to know?
That this wiki is wrong. It says there's an Aarakocra and a Darken Wish 1, 2, and 3. False. There's a Kenku and a Darken Wish. There are no Aarakocra in my book. There's Aarakocra in the stream. I know. There's Aarakocra in the stream. There's no Aarakocra in the book.
This is not for, well, it sort of is and isn't Forgotten Realms. But if you were to leave the planet of Toril, perhaps because you were on some sort of spell jamming ship of some kind. There is a planet called Collier, where there are a lot of Aarakocras, and they have their own like separate culture of Kalarian.
Oh, I 100% want to send my players to Bird People Land.
Space bird people land.
Space birds. I mean, if they live in a low gravity environment, like, I mean, I guess a bird would flourish there, theoretically.
Yeah.
What if it's like a super dense, like, gravity environment? And
so they're
just
all like freaking
Aarakocra.
swole.
Yeah, they're just like bowed out Aarakocra. Yeah. Right.
Bro, do you even fly?
Yeah, right. Are your bones even hollow, bro? Please, oh please. Yeah.
So but that's a good segue to Kenku.
Yes.
It is. Kenku, the sweetest of babies. Because
the sweetest of babies that'll murder your face.
I said what I said, the sweetest of babies. Kenku are non-specifically crow/raven birdfolk. They have lost the ability to fly. It is their curse by hubris, for reasons that we'll speak of soon. So they can't fly anymore. So they kind of think Aarakocra are jerks. They talk by mimicry. They can't actually speak. They can repeat things that they've heard, which is so much fun at a table, by the way. That you can do it two different ways. Hard mode is you can only speak in repeating things you've heard other people say, or you can simulate like other things they've heard over time. When I was soliving my Kenku in A Darkened Wish, when I would play him at the table, I would make a note of things they said all session.
Oh my gosh.
And I would repeat for them things they'd said weeks ago, but Solivigan heard them say it, you know? And yeah. And
that's a really cool name, by the way. Like,
oh, thank you.
A+. Good work.
I have a player in my home game right now who's playing a Kenku, and like he kind of takes like he does a median thing where he's like, I'm going to talk normally, but like the Kenku his Kenku's name is Jeremy. That they are talking in mimicry, except for a few times. For some reason, Jeremy heard the word pants once and just thought that was the coolest thing. So now he just runs into battle, jumping with 2 daggers, yelling pants. So
my goodness,
that's a fun one.
Yeah. I would point a lot of body language, especially if you were at the table. It was a lot easier. You're like, you know, yeah, you could get it across. Yeah. Especially because they're really little too. I think people underestimate how small Kenku really are. They're 5 foot 75 pounds. Yep.
Those hollow bones.
Those hollow bones. Yep. In the art, they do look increasingly untrustworthy. Back into time. Yeah. But this is the part I have to tell my Kenku story with A Darkened Wish, that I think I've told you guys this before. But if not, hopefully it's new for someone there that is with us, dear friends. When we were doing A Darkened Wish, and I was writing the comic book, Wizards of the Coast was great. I pushed and pushed and pushed, and I got 95% of the things I wanted to do in that book. I really did. IDW was great. Wizards of the Coast were great. And I had this Kenku who I envision, he was the Hermes of the story. He's the messenger. He would like show up at times and be like, hey, you should probably advance the plot, you know? So I was like, the Kenku's got to fly. So I gave him a cloak of bat wings, and they were like, no, Kenku can't fly. And I'm like, I mean, they can though. Like, I think I realize it's this great, terrible burden, but it's really easy to get to fly in D&D, especially, you know, at the level that they're at. And it was just like, no. And that was the one wall I kept hitting. And then finally, one day in a meeting, they were like, well, you could give him a broom of flying. And I'm like, wait a second. So the problem's not that he can fly. You just don't want him to have a cloak of bat wings? And they're like, yeah, he can't. And I'm like, can he have winged boots? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, dope. So if you read the book, that's why Solivigan's got winged boots. And to this day, I cannot tell you what they had against the cloak of Batwing. I just assumed some of their property was going to come out, some of the character. I would see it and I'd be like, oh, that's why.
The only thing I could think of is that like an image of a Kenku with something wing-like, people are going to be like, they're coming back.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's the because they are. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Raven Queen yoink their wings? Or so maybe they just don't want to piss off the Raven Queen.
I mean, that's a valid life strategy. You know,
Plus he's like, no. Can I give her any ideas? Can I make her think that something's going on here?
You know, and honestly, path of least resistance. It is probably they were just afraid that you're right. Nobody would look that close to be like, it's got bat wings, and when it lands, they go away. So yeah, it's but yeah, that was a wild thing.
I did not know about the Raven Queen doing that because like even in the wiki, it's just like though they lost their wings and the ability to fly, and it just leaves it at that.
Yeah, I do think it's cursed by the Raven Queen is my recollection also. And then they're trying, they want to get it back. You know what I mean? Like they want to find a way to restore their ability to fly.
Oh, that sounds like a fun campaign.
It does. Yep.
So this also leads us to the fact that there used to be another kind of Kenku.
Oh no. I'm not bringing it up on the stream. Y'all can Google it yourselves. But yeah, these are Kenku parentheses winged.
It does seem like an early Saruk prototype, by the way. They were like, it's literally bird person. It's literally bird person.
But so, like, even bird person does not make me uncomfortable the ways that this one does.
This one, the drawings, it is, hawkish head, bird legs, unclear knee situation, but definitely talons. Wings on the back that are lower down. They look more like a cloak in the picture, and then like brawny human arms.
Which is
weirdly upsetting.
It is just like pythons, though. They lift a lot.
Yeah, this is not a good representation of it. I do not have the muscles. But yeah, it's just like, and then what if they suddenly sprouted human arms?
Right, but like bowed out human arms. Yeah.
And so the one thing these do have in common with the more modern Kenku is they have issues around speaking. They don't have a spoken voice. They kind of make squawking noises, but they have telepathic communication. So that is how they interact with non-Kenku and possibly with actual Kenku too. I'm not sure about that.
There's a if they don't have a voice, they can't even make like burp noises. There is a Kenku in
they make wild gibberish squawks. It says
there is a Kenku that in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight that has stolen someone's voice, and that's why they can talk.
Oh,
yeah, because they just took it. Yeah. Also, gibberish squawking noises. It's like, how dare you just don't speak their bird vernacular? You know what I mean? I'm like, it's not gibberish to them. They know exactly what they're saying.
It's real to me, damn it.
So if you find Kenku in things from first or second edition, and they do fly, and you go, ha! That's what's going on. Yeah. The previous version of Kenku were different.
I will say the first edition art that's on the wiki, I want to be friends with them. The first edition art of the winged Kenku is just adorable.
Oh, they're also bigger. They're like 5 to 7 feet.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Just a 7-foot bowed out Kenku. I roll initiative. Yeah. No, the first edition winged Kenku does still look deeply suspicious, though. Like everything in first edition looks suspicious.
That's
to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the second edition art. You can tell they overtly tried to facelift the first edition art because it still looks like it's doing a suspicious. But it's also got. It's also like its elbows are wrong. Like look at the second edition. Like what's up with the forearm and the elbows?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's it should not be.
I'm gonna stop looking at that page now.
Yeah. Friend, that it looks like it should not be.
Yeah.
Although a 7-foot yoke Kenku is an interesting character concept.
Yeah. How? The Ericocra average height is just 5 feet. I did not.
Yeah, they're 5 foot 90 pounds, and Kenku are 5 foot 75. So like Aarakocra are a little hardier than Kenku.
I always thought Ericocra were much taller.
Everyone does. Nope.
It's the wings.
The wings
behind them.
Interesting.
Yep. Well, I think that was their attempt at giving a nod to physics, and then they're like, but also dragons. So, like, never mind.
Yeah.
We're gonna have like a
so-
flying hut species. There's like,
We got 2 more avian humanoids.
Okay.
We've got Raptorians and Were-Ravens.
Ooh, okay. Well, I don't know
Which
anything
one
about
you start
Raptorians. I forgot about Werewolves.
So Raptorians.
That's part of their plan, by the way.
Raptorians are kind of the bird person you go for if you don't want to be too much bird person. They don't have beaks. They have a humanish face. It is more angular. They have a lot serious eyebrow game.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they've got kind of taloned feet. They've got sort of their hair kind of turns into feathers. They are rocking the stick slim situation, so they have wings and they have arms. Their arms are human looking, but since the rest of them is human looking, that's less upsetting.
Yeah.
We'll just say the image of them holding the bow with their feet and pulling the arrow back and shooting down is flatly ridiculous, though.
Till they're right above you.
I've seen someone shoot a bow with their feet. Like, it's kind of cool.
They even call practicing footbow, which tells me just a lot about the people and decisions that went into getting us to this place. Like, yeah, I'm like, so a not insignificant portion of the internet just went, yeah. So
there's a lot of overlap in the sort of details of Raptorians and Aarakocra. The Raptorians are also like, they live in the mountains. They're kind of isolated. There's not a lot of them. This is when I have a character that is a Raptorian. In the Godcatcher, the landlady of the Godcatcher, Andra Blacklock, is a Raptorian sorceress, or she was in my book. I don't know what's happening in Dragon Heist and stuff. And yeah, she's the only one that anybody in the book knows of. So they are pretty uncommon. And the way I wrote her, she had some kind of bird-like mannerisms. Like she'd stick her leg out while she was talking to you and stuff like that. But in general, if you want to be a bird person, but you want to have a face that doesn't have a beak, Raptorians.
Yeah.
I appreciate they're like literally, they can be like my size. Because they get up to like 6'10", 260. So
Jeez.
maybe I should be trying to shoot a bow with my feet.
People in the chat were asking if it's something more like a harpy. I would say not quite.
No, it's still fairly fleshy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like looking
like,
at the
imagine
image.
if someone did like really cool makeup to make them look like a bird, but like on a model photo shoot, right?
Yeah.
You want to make the model look like bird-like, but still look like a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So they have very high cheekbones and very pointed noses and very high supraorbital tori with like a lot of eyebrow.
Yeah. Contour game's on.
They just have
is on point.
Is the kind of person you look at and go, that person looks kind of like a bird.
Yeah.
And
But
then
not
they were
like that
also,
bird
I
looks
have
like
wings.
it's thinking like a person. Different.
looking at the harpy page and like looking through the artwork. Oh my god, stop doing pop-ups that make me click on things and then go away from the page, you jerk. Like the 5th edition art is of a harpy is very much like a human with like bird talons and wings. Like I always in my head picture I don't picture harpies with arms. They just have wings for arms. I don't know why.
Different portrayals do them like that. In World of Warcraft, they don't have arms.
That might be why. But yeah, it is definitely. Oh my gosh, the 3rd edition harpy is haunting. There's the Raptorians are definitely a different thing.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, the harpies are drawn like adversaries in the Raptorians' art. You know, the Raptorian art is like, this looks like something you could dialogue with.
Yeah.
The harpy art doesn't.
That's fair.
Yeah. Although they're way
under bird people.
Yeah, they do, because I mean, they especially in 5th edition, the harpies are like very, very humanoid. They are just like kind of scaly women with wings. But technically they're monstrosities, you know, technically they're creatures and not a race, which is weird because I mean, they can talk, they're intelligent, you know, so that's an odd, like, where's that line? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like where do you stop being an intelligent monster and become a species?
You
know? Again, check your privilege.
So we don't oh yeah, so that like I'm looking at this right now. So apparently Raptorian were in 3rd edition. I guess we don't have a current canon 5th edition appearance of them.
We do not.
But that's pretty cool. I might use them, like find a stat block that works for them. That's pretty cool.
Again,
Really
bird
cute.
person.
Yeah, there's a lot of, again, there's a lot about them that feels like Aarakocra a bit different. So you might be able to just kind of
reskin that stat block. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, again, in this art, like the quiver of the arrows that go in the arm, but they're facing downward. This is just ridiculous. This just seemed.
He's really stuck on it.
I really am. No, and I mean, I see what they were getting at. I do. But I'm telling you, if I looked up in the sky and saw that, I'd just be like, sweetie, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other interesting points on the Raptorian?
I think that's a pretty good coverage.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so lastly, we got the Were-Ravens, which I really love because strong.
Yum. Shout out to the keepers of the feather. Yep.
So what's up with the Were-Ravens? Are they like the werewolves?
You're like, what is their deal?
What is the
up
deal with Were-Ravens?
with were-ravens? Are they people or are they ravens?
Make up your mind. Sorry. Anywho, Aaron, save this. What are Were-Ravens?
They're lycanthropes.
Okay.
They have 3 forms. They have a human form, they have a giant raven form, and then they have a hybrid form, which is the bird person that made them jump into this episode. And they do have kind of an Ericocra look when they're in the bird person form, although more clawy.
Mm-hmm.
They are one of the lawful good kinds of lycanthropes in general, and they're pretty intelligent. There's a obviously Ravenloft tie-in, as you mentioned, which I will leave to you.
I mean, I don't quite want to spoil if people haven't played it where the Were-Ravens show up, but they are in the Curse of Strahd game, and I love them. Like, I very much went from like Were-Ravens, that sounds weird, to like reading about. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Like, I'm all here for this.
Yeah, they got a group called the Keepers of the Feather that are I won't quite call them Jedi because they will let you die. But they're trying. They're trying to bring some good and order, not just to Barovia, but all of Ravenloft, which is, of course, a very tall order.
Yeah.
And very difficult to do. Yeah. But they try and help people and, you know, empower communities to be able to like fight back against the Dark Lords, but very much from the shadows. Like, I mean, they don't walk into town and are like, I'm here to slay some monsters and save people. It's like, no. It's like, psst, kid, come here. Here's a silver vial of holy water. Hold on to this. Yeah. Don't tell anybody where you got it. Also duck, you know? More behind the scenes.
So are they like I know werewolves, they have like their monstrous form. They can, but if I remember correctly, werewolves can go into like full wolf form, right?
Yeah.
And these can turn into
dire wolf.
giant ravens.
Yeah, all of the lycanthropes have 3 forms. They have the human form,
They're like
the large
Robotech.
version of the animal, and then the third form in the middle. Yep.
The artwork for the Were-Raven on the wiki is just so beautiful. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I think besides there isn't much else on them besides there being lycanthrope. Well, not lycanthrope because lycan is wolf, but you know what I mean. Like they're
Right.
I mean, they're still called
It's
that.
still
so.
lycanthropy, the curse.
Even though.
yeah.
It's not corvidcanthropy, you know. Yeah.
So do they pass it in the same way that werewolves do? Like, can you get
I
bit by
actually
a
don't know
were-raven?
that.
Yeah, it's still a curse. It's still a curse that you're infected by. But
So like they
because-
peck you.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, like, I don't really want to think too hard about how does the curse of lycanthropy pass. Like, is it in the saliva? Is it just in the
I'm
action?
glad I'm not the only one thinking about it.
Like that kind of thing is not really worth thinking about, because the answer is it's magic, dummy. But there are certain setups that beg the question, how does it
it has to be infectious via saliva, almost like a kind of venom, because just getting their blood on you doesn't do it. But they have to break the skin with their saliva, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then it's pecking with its beak closed. If it's gonna,
but it's like
so canonically, wereravens have like salivary issues.
It's really fast. It's lightning reflexes, but essentially they peck and then they give it a little kiss.
It's like a mosquito.
Right,
they spit on you and then peck
they got a proboscis. They're just like gack and then slurp. Yeah. Although because they're lawful good, they get
technically
well, I was gonna say they get consent first, but actually they don't. Unfortunately, it is a curse. If you get bitten by one of them or pecked, as it were, you still just have a certain percentage chance. Mm-hmm. But also, I think they compensate by that they just might not peck you if they don't want you to turn, because they have free hands and they're intelligent. They use crossbows and knives and stuff. Imagine just getting shanked by a wereraven and you're like, please bite me. And it's like, heck. Yeah. But they're very much spies and skulkers in the shadows. Information gatherers are what the wereravens are. They don't just bust out and just do open combat with people in general.
Mm-hmm. Jedi. Brian Cortijo has a fantastic question in the chat that I think is going to lead us into questions from the chat. So if you have any questions, put them in there now. Mars will grab and put in a little doc for us. But Brian Cortijo says, what happens if a Kenku is infected with wereraven lycanthropy?
It gets bigger. Yeah, I mean it's a different creature, so it would just be like the Incredible Hulk.
That's what I was thinking.
Wings come out and it's like, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be delightful, and also the experience of that by a Kenku's non-Kenku party members would be fascinating, because it would be like the Kenku form, the giant raven form. Okay, got that clear. And then the wereraven form, which is like part raven, part Kenku. And those are very close, but not the same. And the Kenku would absolutely appreciate the full difference. And people would be like, okay, wait, so that's you plus wings? But your arms are already kind of wings? So what's happening?
All the wings.
Maybe if you if you give a Kenku wereraven lycanthropy, like it gets more than just one set of wings.
Mm-hmm.
You get one of these
turns into like a Final Fantasy villain. Like you look like Sephiroth, just there with extraneous wings, but like a 12-pack still like carved up though.
This is why they don't buy Kenku, because they're gonna turn into like a seraphim or something, like just wings everywhere, wings and eyes.
Wings and eyes, exactly. Wings and eyes. That's how they get you.
This is Evil Emperor Zerg has a follow-up for this, which is interesting. Could it talk in its raven form?
I would say it could.
Yeah.
Giant ravens can talk.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
No, I feel like it is becoming a wereraven. If you're a Kenku, is like unilaterally positive. Like you're like, I have improved.
I really want to make
statistical category. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wereravens would be like, it's a curse. No, I'm not gonna peck you. It's a curse. And right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Do this for me. No, I kind of am really in love with that idea, like just having like a raven or a Kenku that can hulk out into a bigger raven.
Yeah, just like, oh, it's time. but again, a wereraven is still just like 6'5". You know what I mean? So it's like objectively bigger, but you're like, I mean, okay, you're a bigger raven now. All right. And then it's like, you know what though? Footbow.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
how do you say your name? Zenequa, I think is how you say it. I might be putting too much effort in that. If I am, I apologize. It says, from the wiki, normally wereravens preferred to avoid using their bite attacks in order to keep the spread of lycanthropy to a minimum.
There we go.
Yeah, I literally said that.
I missed that part. My bad.
So yes, agreed. +1.
Agreed, +1, yeah. But yeah, no, I still love that idea of just Kenku was like, just right here. Just pick me right here. All right, let's go back to the top of what we got here and check in. So this is from Non-Bread Loaf. Do changelings have their own or share a progenitor with doppelgangers?
So changelings are descended from doppelgangers, if I remember correctly.
Really?
So,
They are.
Yeah, they're like half doppelgangers, kind of, but in that sort of tiefling way where it doesn't, it's not necessarily a one-to-one thing. Anyway, so they would also come from, by that set of lore, they come from the Batrachi.
Okay, did not know that.
They are technically amphibioid, I guess.
That's they have changelings have a doppelganger ancestor the same way like tieflings have a fiendish ancestor, and Asimar have a celestial ancestor. Changelings have a doppelganger ancestor.
Mm-hmm. Liquid Blue Twitch says, I think this is in response to Kenku's. What if its only experience was Spotify, so it only spoke in song lyrics? That could be fun and terrible. I don't know.
That could be a way to work it.
I had no diggity. I'm aware of a game where somebody played a Kenku that only spoke in song lyrics. A Kenku bard that only spoke in song lyrics.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yep. I like that. Mm-hmm. It's the songs that it's heard across the lands.
Mm-hmm.
Stabigail the Kobold says, the next door neighbor and childhood friend, my next door neighbor and childhood friend actually has the Guinness Book of World Records for shooting a bow with her feet. No joke.
Very impressive.
That is wild. And then Non-Bread Loaf comes back as this question: would the Raven Queen be okay with a winged were-raven Kenku?
I feel like past a certain point, the Raven Queen is elsewhere. Like, she's the ultimate mean girl. Like, I mean, you could go flying through the Shadow Veil and she's look at you like, so
passes over Orcus with a boombox.
Exactly. He's just like, please, yeah, like no,
is that a Kenku with wings?
Because I can very much feel like this is someone's dramatic arc. Get to the Shadowfell, confront the Were-Raven, be like, I'm restored. And she's like, I don't care.
It's like, who are you again?
Yeah. For me, it was Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The Lurking Writer says, do any of the different bird races have specific bird gods or goddesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I closed all of those.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
the Aarakocra, a lot of them worship the. Well, actually, let me double check that because.
While you're looking that up, Ovo Lauren in the chat said, "All Aarakocra game, let's do it."
I mean, my friend Lauren is a burb aficionado. So
see,
yes.
What I would actually want to do is I would want to do a game where it's all Aarakocra of a certain type of bird. And they're a down on their luck sports team, but they get real mighty because they quack so loud.
See, I see what you did there in a legally distinct way. See, I would do the one Kenku in an all Aarakocra band. Yeah, but my one Kenku is like the Hulk, it's like the one where they're like, do not antagonize the Kenku, like for the love of God. For the love of God.
Lawrence said all ostrich Ericocra barbarian is a sports team.
It's true. You just the chunkiest thighs on an Aarakocra, just like squats constantly. But it's super dumb. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Aarakocra of Toril, the predominant faith of them is the elven goddess Airdrie Fania, who is the Avarial specific elven goddess. We talked about Avarials when we talked about elves of interesting types. They are the elves with the wings. Mm-hmm. Not quite bird people, but real close. That's, I think, the dividing line.
Gelflings. Mm-hmm.
Avarial are here. Raptorians are here. That's the bird person line.
Mm-hmm.
However, she does appear to the Aarakocra as a giant white eagle. Giant white bird, not necessarily an eagle. It says that some of them in the north worship some other gods. Akkadi, who is like the goddess of elemental air. A giant eagle god called Remnus, Strongmouse, who is a giant god, and then someone called Sirenita that I have never heard of. But apparently that is an Aarakocra god, so that might be why I have never heard of them.
Well, there you go.
Kenku, I think
They're 200 grand.
They're not proselytizing. They're like, no, this one's for us.
You probably never heard of our god before.
It's true. Maybe they're expressly proselytizing with their bird nonsense, warbling. They're just like, oh! Hail unto thee. Yep.
So I don't think there's not much for Kenku, although Kenku, last time they interacted with a god, got bit pretty hard there. It does say some of them serve the demon lord Pazuzu.
Yep. God of evil flying things.
Yes.
So, yep. God of stingy nopes.
It says some of them follow gods of secrecy because they're sneaky.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think there's anything specific about Raptorian gods because they are a less common race with less written about them. I don't know that we ever got into any of that. And were-ravens probably worship the deities they worshipped before they became were-ravens.
Yeah, it's true.
And maybe I guess Selune tends to be a goddess of good lycanthropes, goddess of the moon. So they may also feel connection to her once they have taken on this curse, lycanthropy. And for bad ones, I think Malar, the beast lord, is usually the preferred church. But I don't know. So I mean, they have free will, so they could be like changed and then go like, nah, this sucks and all of you suck. I'm gonna peck everybody.
I'm gonna make my own religion.
Peck all the humans. Yeah. Peck all the humans. Yep.
All right. Well, I think that is a great place to end this week's episode, mainly because we're running low on time. Aaron, B-Dave, where can people find you and what awesome things you're working on?
I appreciate you're like, that's a good place to stop because we need to stop now.
Yeah, it is.
There's a Raptorian pantheon. Now I'm done. You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can catch me with these guys on our writing podcast, Writing About Dragons and Shit, which you can download anywhere you find your podcasts. It's delightful and fun, and you should check it out. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, first on Mondays from 1:30 to 4 for my new show, Concentration Check. So come over and we'll get some work done. It is a co-writing show, but you don't have to write. You can just work on your day job or clean your house or do your workout, whatever you want to do. We do 25-minute sprints and then 5-minute breaks. And then at the end, we chat a little bit. You can find me on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. on the same channel, twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, for Dungeon Scrawlers, an actual play show set in the Forgotten Realms, where I play with a bunch of other fantasy writers.
Dave Walters to say words about things all over the interwebs, where fine streaming content can be located. Next Monday, starting off Demi Planer with B. Dave Walters. And my first guest, Anjali Bhamani, will be talking about all things gaming and streaming TTRPGs Monday at 11 Pacific on Demi Plane's Twitch there. As always, Tuesday, Heroes of the Plains. Thursday, Black Dice Society with the world's hunkiest podcast producer. Fridays, LA by Night. You'll be seeing the Baron again soon. And all over the place. Just follow me on the tweetagrams at B. Dave Walters.
You can find me on the Difficulty Class podcast every Friday, as well as on Twitter at the Treavor. There's an A hiding in there. Thank you to Mars for moderating in the chat. I try to combine your names. You're the Maz now. You're the moderating Mars. Thank you to Mars for moderating in the chat. And thank you to Codename Entertainment for letting us talk about some D&D. If you missed any part of this show, you can catch it later today as a podcast on your favorite podcast service. And if you have any suggestions for future topics that have to do with D&D and Idle Champions, you can send those into Champions of Lore at codenameentertainment.com. Let's see. Later today, we've got Mars's Guiding Hand at 1, and then we've got the Sketching Hour at 3. What wild things will they roll to make this week? You gotta be there and find out. It's been some. There was jellyfish cake last week, which I was not able to catch, and then people started putting GIFs in the work chat, and I was very confused. So don't miss that. But that is going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, Champions out.